My beloved child, pause for a moment and breathe, because what you are hearing right now is not random, not accidental, and not meant for everyone. This is a sacred interruption, a moment suspended between heaven and earth. A portal has opened just for you, and Archangel Michael is standing at its threshold, calling your spirit by name. Listen carefully. There is a reason your eyes landed here before night comes. There is a reason your heart felt a sudden pull, even if you don't fully understand it yet. Archangel Michael says this moment was marked long before today. In the unseen realm, a signal was released, and only those whose spirits are ready could perceive it. You are one of them. Right now, a divine shift is happening around you. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now, the atmosphere around your life is changing, and Archangel Michael is stepping forward as your defender, your protector, your shield. But hear this clearly. This shield is not automatic. It activates through awareness, through alignment, through you recognizing this sacred window before it closes. There are forces you cannot see that have been watching your journey. Some have waited for you to grow tired. Others hoped you would lose faith quietly. But Archangel Michael says they misjudged you. They did not know what was placed inside you at birth. They did not know heaven assigned a warrior to your life. This is why the portal opened now. You have been walking through invisible pressure lately. Strange delays. Emotional heaviness without a clear reason. Moments where you felt watched, tested, stretched. This was not weakness. This was preparation. Archangel Michael says the pressure was revealing what needed protection and what needed to be removed. Understand this. A divine shield is not just about safety. It is about separation. When the shield comes down, certain energies can no longer access you. Certain voices lose their influence. Certain cycles break without drama, without explanation, without apology. But timing matters. Archangel Michael is very clear. The shield is being placed before night comes because the night represents confusion, emotional vulnerability, and lowered spiritual awareness. Heaven is offering you covering before that phase tries to return. You are being guarded in advance, not rescued after damage. This is a sign of favor. You may not feel strong right now, but strength is not what activates this moment. Humility does. Openness does. The willingness to say, I receive what heaven is doing, even if I don't understand it fully. Archangel Michael is not asking you to fight. He is asking you to stand still and allow him to stand in front of you. Picture this in your spirit, the radiant shield lowering around your life, not like a cage, but like light. Nothing that is meant to bless you is blocked. Only what intends to drain, distract, or delay you is stopped at the boundary. His shield knows the difference. It is intelligent. It is precise. It is divine. And here is what most people don't realize. Portals do not stay open forever. Sacred moments are brief by design. They test discernment. They reward attentiveness. They reveal who is spiritually awake and who is sleepwalking. You are awake. That restlessness you've been feeling, it was your spirit sensing this opening. Its sudden urge to seek answers, to slow down, to listen. That was the signal reaching you. Archangel Michael says many were invited, but few noticed. Fewer still responded. You did. Right now, something unseen is being rerouted. A situation that looked uncertain is being stabilized. A plan that felt fragile is being reinforced. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with the timing of heaven. Do not underestimate how rare this is. This divine shield is also a message to those who underestimated you. It says, you cannot touch what heaven has marked. It says, this season is guarded. It says, access denied. But there is one more thing Archangel Michael wants you to know before we go deeper. This shield is not only about protection from harm. It is also about preserving your destiny. There are assignments ahead of you that require clarity, peace, and spiritual stamina. You cannot carry unnecessary battles into the next phase. So heaven is intervening early. At His mercy, at His strategy, at His love. Stay present. Do not rush. Let these words settle into your spirit, because what comes next will explain why this moment had to reach you before nightfall and what changes once the shield is fully in place. My chosen one, as these words continue to flow, understand that the portal you step into did not open randomly. It opened with intelligence, precision, and divine intent. Archangel Michael is not merely surrounding you. He is recalibrating the atmosphere of your life. Things that once felt heavy are being reweighed in the spiritual realm, and many of them are being declared unnecessary for where you are going. You may notice something subtle happening already. A calm that doesn't need explanation. A silence where anxiety used to speak loudly. This is not happiness. This is alignment. Archangel Michael says when heaven moves into position, noise fades first. Confusion loses its grip before clarity fully arrives. That is how you know the shift is real. Right now, there is a divine audit taking place. Every agreement you made out of fear, every compromise you accepted just to survive, every role you carried that was never meant to be yours, all of it is being reviewed. And here is the good news. Much of it is being canceled. Not because you demanded it, but because your season has changed. This shield being placed over you is also filtering your connections. Some people will naturally drift without conflict. Some conversations will end without closure. This is not loss. This is protection in motion. Archangel Michael says what cannot come with you will quietly step aside. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to explain it. Heaven is handling the exits. Pay attention to your intuition during this phase. It is sharper than usual because interference had been reduced. When something feels off, trust it. When something feels peaceful, honor it. The shield amplifies discernment. It does not make you paranoid. It makes you precise. There is also something being restored that you didn't even realize was missing. Your spiritual confidence. Not arrogance. Not control. But a deep inner knowing that you are not walking alone and never were. Archangel Michael reminds you that protection is your birthright, not a reward you earn by suffering. Some of you have been praying quietly, almost apologetically, as if asking too much would disqualify you. That ends now. Heaven is not offended by your need. Heaven responds to sincerity. This moment is proof that your whispers were heard. As this message reaches others around the world, it is forming a circle of agreement. You are not isolated in this experience. Many are being gathered under the same covering, even if your paths never cross physically. The spiritual realm recognizes alignment faster than geography ever could. And now hear this carefully. Participation matters. When you acknowledge what is happening, you strengthen it. When you engage with this message, you anchor it deeper. This is why it is important not to keep this moment to yourself. When something resonates in your spirit, let it be known. Leave a comment as a declaration. Share this message with someone who needs protection but doesn't know how to ask for it yet. Your obedience could be the confirmation they've been waiting for. And if this space hath been feeding your spirit, don't remain hidden. Subscribe to this channel and stay connected, because these messages are not isolated. They are part of a larger unfolding. When you like this video, you are not just clicking a button. You are signaling agreement with what heaven is releasing. You are helping His word reach those who are still searching in silence. Archangel Michael is also strengthening your voice. You may feel prompted to speak up in situations where you once stayed quiet. This is not rebellion. This is alignment. Silence protected you before, but clarity will advance you now. The shield allows you to speak without fear of backlash, because truth spoken under divine covering carries authority. There is something else happening behind the scenes. A delay you thought was denial is being revealed as divine timing. If things had moved sooner, you would have been exposed without protection. Now, the shield goes first, and then the door opens. This order is intentional. Do not rush the process. Night has not yet come, and the window is still open. Archangel Michael says you are exactly where you need to be to receive what comes next. But what unfolds next will require your full attention, because it explains why certain battles never happened and why certain storms suddenly stopped forming around you. So remain here. Let this message settle. Engage with it. Stay connected to this channel, because what is about to be revealed will bring clarity to patterns you've questioned for years. Trust me, you'll want to stay with this, because the next revelation ties everything together in a way you did not expect. My radiant one, as this sacred moment deepens, Archangel Michael draws closer, not with noise or force, but with certainty. The shield that began descending around you is now sealing into place, layer by layer, like light weaving itself into destiny. This is the phase where heaven confirms what earth could not explain. You are not imagining the shift. You are not overthinking the peace. This is real, and it is happening because you responded. There are things you survived that should have broken you. There are moments you walked through where the odds were not in your favor, yet somehow you emerged intact. Archangel Michael says those were early signs of this assignment. You were never left uncovered. You were being trained to recognize divine protection when it appears quietly, without spectacle. Right now, something ancient is being activated within you. A memory older than fear, older than disappointment. It is the remembrance that you are guarded, that you are seen, that your life is not fragile in the way you were once led to believe. The shield does not just block what is dark. It amplifies what is divine within you. This is why old triggers are losing their power. Situations that once drained you no longer hold the same grip. People who thrived on your emotional reactions are suddenly confused by your calm. This is not distance. This is dominion. Archangel Michael says when protection is active, chaos loses its audience. You may also notice your dreams becoming clearer. Messages arriving through unexpected channels. Repeated confirmations that seem too precise to ignore. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of the portal still humming in the background of your life. Even though the window is narrowing, its impact is expanding. Heaven is also restoring your sense of trust, but in a refined way. Not blind trust in people, not naive hope in systems, but a grounded trust in divine timing. You are learning that delays can be shields and silence can be strategy. This understanding is part of your upgrade. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. You were protected even when you felt exposed. You were defended even when you felt alone. The enemy never had full access to you, no matter how convincing the illusion felt. This shield did not arrive late. It arrived right on time. There is a recalibration happening in how you respond to pressure. Instead of panic, There is pause. Instead of reaction, there is discernment. This is maturity in the spirit. This is what happens when divine protection is not just around you, but within your awareness. Some of you are being prepared for leadership, even if that leadership looks quiet right now. Others are being prepared for restoration after a long season of endurance. The shield adapts to the assignment. It knows what you will need before you do. Do not be surprised if you feel called to release certain habits, thoughts, or routines that once felt comforting. A shield is making room. What is coming next requires clarity, and clarity needs space. Archangel Michael says, let go without fear. Nothing essential will be taken. Only what is outdated. This moment also marks a line of separation. What once had access to your emotions no longer does. What once influenced your decisions is losing authority. You are stepping into a protected identity, one that does not need to prove itself through struggle. Take a breath here. Allow gratitude to rise, not because everything is perfect, but because you are covered. Gratitude seals what fear tries to reopen. Even a quiet thank you strengthens the shield. As this part of the message comes to a close, receive this activation fully. Speak it if you can. Accept it if you must. Archangel Michael stands watch, sword lowered, shield raised, declaring that this phase of your life is guarded. Type I receive divine covering in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 444 is now released over your life. And hear this instruction flowing directly from this moment. This message is not just for you. It is for the ones still walking without knowing protection is available. When you support this mission, you are helping light reach them before their night comes. I hear the Lord saying, as you sow into this word, I will cover your house like a shield of fire. Your act of giving becomes a prophetic response, not a donation, but an alignment with heaven's urgency. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are turning this message into a river that reaches hidden hearts. I speak blessing over every seed sown, that it returns multiplied in peace, clarity, and provision. Do this now, as an act of obedience, and watch how the same shield that guards you begins to guard everything connected to you. My steadfast one. As the echo of this sacred activation settles, Archangel Michael now shifts your awareness from what is forming around you to what is changing within you. Protection is no longer just something happening externally. It is becoming a posture of your soul. You are beginning to carry peace in a way that cannot be shaken by circumstances, and that is intentional. There was a time when uncertainty ruled your thoughts, when every delay felt personal and every obstacle felt like a verdict. But that chapter is closing. Archangel Michael says the shield over you is retraining your nervous system, your emotional responses, and your spiritual instincts. You are learning how to remain steady even when answers are not immediate. This is a powerful transition. You may notice that problems no longer provoke the same urgency they once did. It is not that you have stopped caring. It is that you have stopped fearing outcomes. Fear was never meant to be your motivator. Wisdom is. And wisdom flows freely when protection is secure. Heaven is also restoring something that was quietly eroded over time. Your sense of worth. Not worth based on productivity or approval, but worth anchored in identity. Archangel Michael says when you know you are guarded, you stop begging for validation from places that were never assigned to value you. The shift may feel unfamiliar at first. You might catch yourself pausing where you once rushed, listening where you once reacted, waiting where you once forced movement. This is not stagnation. This is discernment being activated at a higher level. There is also a subtle cleansing taking place, Old guilt that you carried for decisions made in survival mode is being lifted. Heaven is not holding those moments against you. Growth always includes revision. Learning always includes forgiveness. Archangel Michael says stop punishing yourself for what you didn't know then. You are judged by what you do with what you know now. Pay attention to how your boundaries are strengthening without aggression. You are no longer explaining yourself excessively. You are no longer overextending to prove loyalty. This is a sign that the shield is teaching you where your responsibility ends and where God's begins. Some of you will feel drawn to simplify your life in this season. Fewer distractions, clearer priorities, deeper rest. This is not withdrawal, this is refinement. Protection often brings clarity about what truly matters, and clarity naturally reduces noise. There is also a warning wrapped in this grace. Do not reopen doors that heaven has clearly closed. Nostalgia can feel spiritual, but not every familiar thing is safe. Archangel Michael says trust the peace you feel away from certain environments. That peace is evidence of protection working correctly. You are also being trained to recognize false urgency. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Not every crisis is yours to solve. The shield filters emergencies, allowing only what aligns with your assignment to reach you. This will save you years of unnecessary exhaustion. Another change you may observe is how quickly you recover from emotional disruptions. What once took days to process now takes moments. This is resilience, being restored, not numbness, not avoidance. Strengthened emotional elasticity under divine covering. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that protection does not mean absence of challenge. It means challenges no longer have permission to define you. You are learning to pass through situations without absorbing their poison. This is a rare grace. There is also an increase in spiritual authority unfolding quietly. Your prayers are becoming more precise. Your words carry weight. When you speak alignment, things respond. When you withdraw attention, certain patterns collapse. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual alignment under protection. Do not rush to announce this transformation. Let it speak for itself. Let others notice the calm, the clarity, the confidence that does not boast. Heaven promotes what is grounded, not what is loud. As this phase continues, you may feel moments of deep stillness. Do not fill them with distraction. Stillness is where instructions are refined. Archangel Michael often speaks most clearly when everything else quiets down. Remember this. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not catching up. You are exactly where you need to be for what is coming next. The shield did not arrive to pause your destiny. It arrived to prepare it. Stay anchored in this awareness. Let peace become familiar. Let discernment become instinct. Let protection become your foundation, not your emergency response. What unfolds next will explain why certain doors are about to open effortlessly, and why you will not have to fight to enter them. This is where divine favor begins to move from preparation into manifestation. My awakened one, as this sacred flow continues, Archangel Michael now draws your attention to the unseen negotiations that have been happening on your behalf. While you were learning to rest, heaven was learning how to advance you without resistance. There were moments when you thought nothing was happening, but in truth, everything was being repositioned with precision. You must understand this clearly. Not every delay was meant to frustrate you. Some delays were divine buffers, protecting you from entering rooms too early, meeting people unprepared, or carrying weight your spirit was not yet reinforced to hold. Archangel Michael says the shield did more than guard you. It bought you time. Time to mature. Time to heal. Time to see clearly. Now that time is yielding fruit, you are entering a phase where movement will feel smoother. Not because life suddenly becomes effortless, but because you are no longer fighting against currents that were never meant for you. Resistance has lifted. Opposition has weakened. Confusion has lost its authority. This is the quiet evidence of divine alignment. Notice how certain worries are dissolving without you forcing solutions. Matters that once consumed your thoughts are resolving themselves or becoming irrelevant altogether. This is not avoidance. This is redirection. Archangel Michael says heaven is conserving your energy for assignments that actually matter. There's also a strengthening happening in your decision-making. You are no longer swayed by emotional urgency or external pressure. You pause. You listen. You sense. This inner steadiness is not accidental. It is the byproduct of being covered. When fear is blocked, wisdom rises. Some of you will begin to notice changes in your environment. Opportunities appearing without struggle. Invitations aligning with your values. Conversations flowing with ease instead of tension. This is how favor manifests under protection. It does not announce itself loudly. It simply opens doors at the right moment. Be mindful not to self-sabotage this season by returning to old coping mechanisms. You no longer need to over-explain, overgive, or overwork to secure your place. Your presence is enough. Your alignment is enough. Archangel Michael says rest in the authority that comes from being assigned, not from being approved. There may also be moments where you feel an urge to revisit past choices, wondering if things could have been different. Release that impulse. Reflection is healthy, but regret is not productive here. Everything unfolded exactly as it needed to bring you into this protected position. Nothing was wasted. You are also being trained to recognize the difference between intuition and anxiety. Anxiety pushes. Intuition guides. Anxiety demands immediate answers. Intuition invites patience. Under this shield, your intuition is being purified. Trust it. It will not mislead you. Another sign of this shift is how you respond to criticism. Words that once pierced deeply now pass through without lodging in your spirit. This is not hardness of heart. This is discernment of relevance. Not every opinion deserves residency in your mind. Archangel Michael is also fortifying your hope, but in a grounded way. This is not unrealistic expectation. This is quiet confidence. The kind that does not need reassurance, because it is anchored in something greater than circumstances. Pay attention to moments of unexpected joy. Small things that suddenly feel significant. Laughter that comes easily. Peace that settles without explanation. These are signals that your spirit is recalibrating to a safer environment. Joy thrives where fear is absent. There is also a call to stewardship in this season. Protection brings responsibility. You are being invited to guard your time, your energy, your thoughts, and your words more intentionally. What you allow into your inner world now has greater impact, for better or worse. Choose wisely. You may feel drawn to deepen your spiritual practices, not out of obligation, but out of desire. This is alignment, not pressure. Archangel Michael says follow what nourishes your spirit, not what exhausts it. As the shield continues to hold, you will notice that battles you expected never arrive. Conflicts dissolve before forming. Plans that could have derailed you lose momentum. This is not coincidence. This is intervention. Do not question the ease when it appears. Ease does not mean lack of purpose. Sometimes ease is proof that resistance had been removed. Receive it without guilt. You are not stepping into a fragile season. You are stepping into a fortified one. What is coming next will require stability, clarity, and endurance. All three are being established now. Stay present. Stay receptive. Stay grounded. Because the momentum that begins to build from here will carry you into outcomes that once felt distant. This is not the climax yet, but it is the acceleration point. And Archangel Michael remains stationed, ensuring that nothing meant to harm you can pass through what heaven has sealed. My resilient one, as this unfolding continues, Archangel Michael now invites you to recognize how deeply protected movement changes direction. This is the stage where momentum begins to respond to alignment. You are no longer pushing life forward. Life is beginning to meet you halfway. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when resistance is removed at the spiritual level. There was a time when every step forward felt heavy, as if you were carrying invisible weight. That weight was not weakness. It was exposure. But now, under divine covering, movement feels different. Decisions feel cleaner. Choices feel clearer. You are not second-guessing everything anymore, and when doubt tries to return, it no longer stays long. Archangel Michael says the shield has shifted how opposition interacts with you. What once confronted you directly is now rerouted. What once drained you now bypasses you. This is why certain conflicts simply stop escalating. You are not avoiding them. They are losing access. You may also notice that your patience has increased without effort. Waiting no longer feels like punishment. Stillness no longer feels like stagnation. This is because your spirit trusts what your mind is still learning, that you are safe in the process. When safety is restored, urgency dissolves. This is also a season of recalibrated effort. You are learning where to invest your energy and where to withhold it. Not everything requires your response. Not every message needs an answer. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. The shield filters demands, allowing only what aligns with your assignment to reach you. There is something important happening with your voice as well. When you speak now, there is a steadiness behind your words. You are less reactive, more intentional. Even silence carries meaning. Archangel Michael says authority does not need volume. It needs grounding. Some of you may feel prompted to step into visibility in new ways. Sharing your thoughts, expressing your truth, supporting others through wisdom gained from experience. This is not exposure without protection. This is influence under covering. The shield goes with you wherever you are sent. And this is where your participation matters again. When a message strengthens you, do not keep it contained. Like this video as a signal of agreement. Leave a comment as a marker of alignment. Share it with someone who hath been feeling unguarded, overwhelmed, or unsure. These actions are not small. They help this word reach those whose timing is now. If this space hath been nourishing your spirit consistently, stay connected. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss what is being released next. There is continuity here, and each message builds upon the last. When you join this community, you are stepping into a flow that is intentional and protected. Archangel Michael also highlights how unity strengthens protection. When people gather around truth, the covering expands. Your engagement is part of that expansion. You are not just receiving, you are reinforcing the field. There is another subtle shift taking place. Your tolerance for confusion is decreasing. You no longer accept mixed signals, unclear commitments, or half-truths. This is not impatience. This is discernment sharpening. The shield heightens your sensitivity to alignment, making misalignment uncomfortable. Do not ignore that discomfort. It is guiding you away from what could weaken you later. Archangel Michael says clarity now prevents correction later. What you avoid in wisdom saves you from battles you would otherwise have to fight. You may also feel a renewed sense of purpose stirring. Not pressure to perform, but clarity about what matters. Certain goals will fall away naturally, while others rise with urgency and peace combine. Follow the ones that bring both. That is where protection and purpose meet. There is a reminder for you here. You do not need to explain your growth to those who only knew your survival version. Let them see the fruit instead. Let transformation speak louder than justification. As this message continues to reach hearts across the world, something collective is happening. A wave of reassurance. A reminder that heaven still intervenes. That protection is still active. That no one who aligns with divine timing is overlooked. Hold on here, because what unfolds next connects this protection to tangible outcomes you have been waiting on. This is where unseen preparation begins to surface in visible ways. The clarity coming will answer questions you have carried silently for a long time. Stay with this moment. Engage with it. Let it anchor. Because the next revelation will show you how this shield does more than guard you. It positions you, my anchored one. As this divine sequence unfolds, Archangel Michael now reveals how protection quietly reshapes your future without announcing itself. This is the phase where positioning replaces striving. You are no longer chasing outcomes. Outcomes are aligning with where you stand. Heaven has adjusted the coordinates around your life, and now movement happens with less resistance because you are finally standing in the right place. There is a reason you feel more observant lately. You are noticing patterns instead of reacting to moments. You are sensing intentions beneath words. This is not suspicion. This is spiritual intelligence increasing under covering. When you are protected, you can see clearly without fear clouding your vision. Archangel Michael says many of the answers you sought externally are now rising internally. You are becoming your own confirmation. What once required reassurance from others now settles quietly within you. This is maturity. This is confidence that does not depend on applause. You may feel less drawn to chaos, even when it disguises itself as excitement. Drama feels loud. Confusion feels heavy. You are not boring. You are refined. The shield has adjusted your appetite. You are craving peace because peace is now familiar. This is also a season where timing begins to favor you. Not rush timing, not forced acceleration, but precise moments where things line up without strain. Conversations happen at the right time. Opportunities appear when you are ready. Information arrives exactly when it is needed. This is not coincidence. This is orchestration. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that protection does not remove your responsibility. It clarifies it. You are being trusted with more because you are grounded enough to carry it. This trust is earned through alignment, not effort. Notice how you are less tempted to prove yourself. You no longer need to explain your choices to people who do not understand your calling. Silence has become a strategy rather than a defense. This is wisdom taking root. There is also healing happening at a deeper layer now. Not just from recent disappointments, but from long-held narratives about who you thought you had to be to survive. Those stories are being rewritten. You are realizing that endurance was a chapter, not your identity. Some of you will experience a sudden clarity about direction. Not a detailed map, but a clear next step. That is enough. Protection often reveals only what you need to know now, not everything at once. Trust the process. More will unfold as you move. Do not be surprised if certain people suddenly reappear with familiar energy. This is a test of discernment, not temptation. You are being shown how much you have changed. Archangel Michael says, do not confuse familiarity with assignment. What once had access may no longer have permission. Your emotional responses are also stabilizing. Highs are calmer. Lows are shorter. You are not suppressing feelings. You are processing them without losing yourself. This is emotional maturity under divine covering. There is a quiet authority settling into your presence. People may seek your perspective more often. Your words may carry unexpected influence. This is not about status. This is about alignment. When you are protected, your insight becomes valuable because it is unclouded. You are also learning how to rest without guilt. Rest is no longer avoidance. It is preparation. Archangel Michael says fatigue distorts perception, and clarity requires renewal. Honor your need for rest. It is part of your protection. Pay attention to the small confirmations, repeated phrases, consistent themes, gentle nudges that guide you away from what drains you and toward what strengthens you. These are not random. They are part of the guidance system now active in your life. There is also a shift in how you view success. It is no longer about speed or comparison. It is about sustainability. You are building something that will last, not something that will impress temporarily. Protection favors longevity. As this part of the journey settles, you may feel a sense of anticipation without anxiety, expectation without pressure. This is hope purified. Not wishful thinking, but confident waiting. Archangel Michael remains present, not hovering, but guarding the perimeter of what is unfolding. You are not being rushed because what is coming requires stability. You are not being delayed because preparation is nearly complete. What unfolds next will connect this inner transformation to outer manifestation. You will begin to see how protection translates into provision, clarity into opportunity, and peace into progress. This is where the unseen work becomes visible, and you will recognize it not by excitement alone, but by how naturally it fits into who you have become. My beloved one, as this sacred unfolding reaches deeper layers, Archangel Michael now brings your attention to a powerful truth many overlook. Protection is not only about what is kept away from you, but about what is finally allowed to reach you. The shield that was placed over your life did not come to isolate you from blessings. It came to make sure only what is pure, aligned, and appointed is able to enter. This is why you may feel more selective lately. Judgmental. Not closed. Simply discerning. You are no longer impressed by appearances. You are moved by substance. Your spirit now recognizes what carries weight and what is merely noise. This refinement is not accidental. It is the result of sustained divine covering. Archangel Michael says this is the phase where compensation begins. Not always financial at first, but internal. Peace replacing anxiety. Confidence replacing self-doubt. Clarity replacing confusion. These are rewards many chase externally, but you are receiving them internally first, where they matter most. There is also a deep healing happening around trust. Some of you learned to trust no one because trust once got you too much. Others trusted too easily and paid the price. And now, under protection, trust is being recalibrated. You are learning when to open and when to guard. This balance is wisdom, not fear. Do not be surprised if new connections begin to form that feel different from past ones. Conversations feel mutual. Respect flows naturally. There is no need to perform or impress. This is alignment in relationships. Archangel Michael says when protection is active, unhealthy bonds cannot sustain themselves. You may also notice that opportunities now come with peace attached. Even challenging ones do not feel threatening. They stretch you without draining you. This is how you recognize what is divinely assigned. It may require growth, but it will not require you to abandon yourself. There is an invitation here to release old survival patterns. You no longer need to stay hypervigilant. You no longer need to anticipate harm around every corner. The shield allows you to live instead of constantly bracing. This transition can feel unfamiliar, but it is necessary. Archangel Michael is also guarding your joy. Moments of happiness will no longer be followed immediately by dread. You are learning to enjoy good things without waiting for them to be taken away. This is a major breakthrough for many of you. Pay attention to how your body responds to this season. Tension releasing, breathing deepening, sleep becoming more restful. These are physical signs of spiritual safety. Your nervous system is learning that it no longer has to stay on high alert. There is also a restoration of hope happening quietly. Not loud declarations, but steady expectation. You are beginning to believe again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are protected through imperfection. Hope rooted in protection is resilient. As this message settles, Archangel Michael asks you to mark this moment, not with fear, not with urgency, but with agreement. When you declare alignment, you seal intention. Type "I am divinely guarded" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this. Blessing code 818 is now activated over your life. And now hear this carefully, because this flows directly from what you have just received. This message continues because there are still souls who have not yet realized that protection is available to them. I hear the Lord saying, as you help carry this word forward, I will extend the same shield over your household. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing light into moments of darkness for others. Your giving becomes a prophetic action, response to divine timing, not a financial gesture. I speak blessing over every supporter, that what you release will return as peace, provision, and divine order. Do this now, without delay, and watch how heaven honors your obedience with covering that reaches beyond you and into everything connected to your name. My awakened soul, as this sacred journey continues, Archangel Michael now brings your awareness to a quiet but powerful reality. You are no longer preparing for protection. You are living from it. There is a difference. Gabriel's cautious. Living from protection is confident. You have crossed that threshold, even if you cannot yet explain how. This is why your reactions are changing before your circumstances do. You are no longer waiting for proof to feel secure. Security has become internal. And when security lives within you, the external world begins to rearrange itself naturally. Archangel Michael says this is how authority matures, silently, steadily, without announcement. You may notice that things which once triggered emotional spirals now pass through your awareness without attaching themselves to your spirit. This is not detachment. It is mastery. You are learning how to observe without absorbing. This skill will protect you more than you realize in the days ahead. There is also a shift happening in how you perceive time. You are less rushed, less pressured, less anxious about being behind. That old voice telling you that you are running out of time is losing its influence. Archangel Michael says when heaven is involved, timing stops being a threat and becomes a tool. Some of you are recognizing that certain goals you chased relentlessly no longer carry the same weight. This is not failure. This is refinement. You are no longer driven by the need to prove anything. You are guided by alignment. And alignment always leads to fulfillment, even if the path looks different than you imagined. Be aware that as your peace stabilizes, it may unsettle those who benefited from your anxiety. This is not your responsibility to manage. You are not required to shrink your growth to keep others comfortable. Protection sometimes reveals who was feeding off your unrest. Let the clarity stand without confrontation. Archangel Michael is also strengthening your spiritual stamina. You are not just calm on good days, you are steady on uncertain ones. This endurance is crucial, because what is coming will require consistency, not intensity. You are being prepared to sustain blessing, not just receive it. There is an inner honesty emerging as well. You are becoming more truthful with yourself about what you can handle, what you desire, and what you are no longer willing to tolerate. This self-honesty is sacred. It keeps you aligned and prevents future compromise. You may feel drawn to reorganize aspects of your life, your schedule, your priorities, your commitments. This is not restlessness. This is realignment. Under protection, you are no longer building around chaos. You are building around clarity. Notice how your prayers are changing. They are less desperate, more declarative. Less pleading, more trusting. This shift signals spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael says heaven responds quickly to prayers that are rooted in confidence rather than fear. Another sign of this phase is how quickly you recognize distractions. Things that once consumed hours of your attention now feel empty. This is not boredom. This is focus sharpening. You are becoming more intentional with where you place your energy. There is also healing taking place around disappointment. Old unmet expectations are loosening their grip. You are releasing the need for certain outcomes to validate your journey. This does not mean you stop hoping. It means your hope is no longer fragile. Archangel Michael wants you to know that some of the protection you are experiencing now is preventive. You are being spared from paths that look appealing but would have drained you long-term. Trust the redirections, even when they do not come with full explanations. You are also learning how to celebrate progress without rushing the process. You honor small victories. You acknowledge growth. You recognize that transformation is happening, even if it is not yet visible to everyone else. This awareness keeps you grounded. There may be moments where you feel called to pause and reflect on how far you have come. Do not dismiss these moments. Gratitude reinforces protection. When you acknowledge what has shifted, you stabilize it. As this part unfolds, Archangel Michael remains watchful, not because danger is imminent, but because stewardship is active. You are being guarded as you learn how to carry what is coming next. And what is coming will not overwhelm you, because you are no longer the same person who once feared it. This is the calm before visible expansion. Not a fragile calm, but a fortified one. You are not standing still, you are standing ready. And soon, very soon, you will see how this season of protection transforms into momentum, clarity, and tangible movement forward. My faithful one, as this divine unfolding continues, Archangel Michael now brings you to a moment of recognition. This is where you realize that protection was never meant to keep you hidden forever. It was meant to stabilize you so that when movement begins, you move with confidence instead of fear. You are stepping into a phase where forward motion feels natural, not forced. Something important has shifted in how you relate to uncertainty. You no longer panic when answers are delayed. You no longer assume the worst when things are unclear. This is not because you stopped caring, but because you trust the covering over your life. Archangel Michael says when trust is restored, peace becomes your default response. You may notice that your focus is sharpening. Distractions that once pulled you in many directions are losing their appeal. You are becoming more intentional about where you invest your time and attention. This is not restriction. This is refinement. Protection teaches you what is worth your energy. There is also a new level of courage forming within you. Not loud courage, not reckless boldness, but steady courage. The kind that allows you to take the next step even when the full picture is not visible. Archangel Michael says this courage is born from knowing you are guarded, not from believing you are invincible. Pay attention to how opportunities now come with confirmation. You are not guessing as much anymore. There is a sense of rightness, a quiet peace that accompanies decisions. This does not mean every choice is easy, but it means clarity is present even in complexity. This is also a season where your testimony is forming, even if you are not sharing it yet. What you are living through now will one day strengthen others. The calm you carry will speak louder than explanations ever could. Protection is not only for your benefit, it is preparing you to be a signpost for others. Archangel Michael also highlights the importance of staying connected in this season. You were not meant to walk this path in isolation. When a message resonates with your spirit, engage with it. Leave a comment as a declaration of alignment. When you like this video, you help extend this word to others whose timing is now. Share it with someone who has been feeling unguarded or overwhelmed. Your action could be their confirmation. If this channel has been a place of clarity and peace for you, remain connected. Subscribe so you don't miss what is being released next. There is a flow here, and each message builds upon the last. Staying connected keeps you aligned with what heaven is unfolding. Archangel Michael says unity strengthens covering. When people gather around truth, protection multiplies. Your participation matters more than you realize. There is also a warning wrapped in this encouragement. Do not allow complacency to replace gratitude. Protection is not a reason to disengage. It is a reason to steward well. Guard your peace. Guard your focus. Guard your inner world. What you protect now will protect you later. You may notice moments where old fears try to resurface, questioning whether this peace will last. Do not entertain those thoughts. Fear often tries to revisit when it senses it is losing influence. Recognize it and let it pass without agreement. Archangel Michael reminds you that consistency is key in this phase. You do not need dramatic spiritual moments every day. Faithfulness in small, quiet choices will sustain what had been established. This is how protection becomes permanent. There is also an invitation to trust your growth. You are not the same person who once struggled in the same way. Situations that would have overwhelmed you before will now meet a steadier version of you. This is evidence that the work being done is real. Hold on here, because what comes next connects this inner stability to external breakthrough. This is where preparation begins to show results. You will want to stay present for this, because the next revelation explains why certain doors are about to open without resistance, and why you will be ready to walk through them without fear. Remain anchored. Stay engaged. This is not the time to drift. This is the moment where everything you've been sensing starts to make sense. My strengthened one, as this sacred sequence nears its culmination, Archangel Michael now reveals something deeply reassuring. What is coming toward you will not shock your spirit, because you have already been prepared for it internally. This is why the past phases focused so heavily on peace, clarity, and stability. You were not being delayed. You were being fortified. There is a difference between receiving a blessing and sustaining it. Many people encounter good moments they cannot maintain because their inner world is still fragile. But you are different now. Your foundation has been reinforced. Your reactions are measured. Your expectations are grounded. Archangel Michael says you are ready to carry what once would have overwhelmed you. You may feel a quiet confidence growing that does not need validation. This confidence is not loud. It does not announce itself. It simply knows. You trust yourself more. You trust divine timing more. You trust that even if plans adjust, you will remain steady. This trust is a sign of maturity, not passivity. Notice how you no longer chase reassurance the way you used to. You are not constantly looking for signs because you have become one. Your presence carries peace. Your words carry calm. Others may not know why they feel safe around you, but it is because you are carrying protection into every space you enter. Archangel Michael also highlights how your discernment has sharpened. You recognize truth faster. You sense misalignment sooner. You no longer need prolonged exposure to know when something is not right. This is not judgment. This is clarity. And clarity saves time, energy, and emotional wear. There is also a quiet release happening now. Old expectations of how things were supposed to unfold are dissolving. You are making peace with the reality that some paths were necessary detours, not mistakes. This acceptance is freeing you to move forward without dragging disappointment behind you. You may feel a growing sense of readiness without knowing exactly what you are ready for. That is intentional. Heaven does not always reveal the full picture in advance. Sometimes readiness itself is the sign. Archangel Michael says when you are internally aligned, external direction follows quickly. Be attentive to subtle opportunities. Not everything that changes your life arrives dramatically. Some doors open through ordinary conversations, small decisions, or quiet invitations. Under protection, these small moments carry great weight. Do not dismiss them. You are also learning to honor your limits without guilt. You rest when needed. You pause when uncertain. You move when clear. This rhythm is sustainable. It protects you from burnout and keeps your spirit sensitive to guidance. Another shift you may notice is how you handle pressure. Pressure no longer provokes panic. It invites focus. You break things down instead of feeling crushed. This is resilience built through divine covering. You are no longer reacting from survival mode. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that not everyone will understand this version of you. Some will miss the version that overgave, overexplained, and overextended. But you are not responsible for maintaining familiarity at the cost of your growth. Protection sometimes changes how accessible you are, and that is healthy. You are also becoming more intentional with your words. You speak less, but with greater impact. You listen more. You observe before responding. This is wisdom settling into place. When words are chosen carefully, they carry authority. There may be moments where you feel a gentle urgency, not driven by fear, but by alignment. When that happens, act without hesitation. Archangel Michael says delayed obedience often feels like confusion. When peace and clarity agree, move. This is also a season of consolidation. What you have learned is being integrated. What you have released is staying behind. You are not fragmented anymore. Your inner world is becoming cohesive. This wholeness is rare and valuable. As this phase draws toward its final reveal, take a moment to acknowledge your growth, not with pride but with gratitude. You did not arrive here by accident. You responded when it mattered. You stayed when it was easier to disengage. You trusted when certainty was unavailable. Archangel Michael remains present, not because danger is imminent, but because transition is sacred. The final phase will seal what hath been established and release what has been prepared. And when it does, you will recognize it not by chaos, but by how naturally it fits into the life you have become ready to live. Stay open. Stay grounded. The closing message carries a powerful activation, one that ties everything together and releases a final covering over what comes next. My chosen one, this is the moment where everything comes into alignment. Archangel Michael now stands not only as your protector, but as the witness to what has been completed. The shield that was placed over you was never temporary. It was never symbolic. It was strategic, intentional, and timed to this very crossing. You are not ending a message. You are sealing a season. There is a deep calm surrounding you now, and that calm is not accidental. It is the evidence that fear no longer governs your decisions. You are no longer led by urgency, by panic, or by the need to prove anything. Archangel Michael says this is what it looks like when a soul is finally safe enough to move forward without resistance. You may not see fireworks. You may not hear thunder. But make no mistake, something irreversible has happened. What once had permission to access your emotions, your peace, and your focus has lost that authority. This is not because you fought harder, but because you aligned deeper. This final phase is about sealing identity. You are no longer defined by what you survived. You are defined by what you carry. And what you carry now is discernment, peace, wisdom, and divine authority. These cannot be taken from you because they were not given by people or circumstances. They were cultivated under protection. Archangel Michael wants you to know that the next chapter of your life will not look like the last one. You will not enter it exhausted. You will not enter it confused. You will not enter it unguarded. You are crossing over with clarity, and clarity is one of the greatest forms of favor. There will still be challenges, but they will not feel consuming. There will still be decisions, but they will not feel paralyzing. There will still be growth, but it will not require self-betrayal. This is the difference between striving and stewardship. You are no longer striving to survive. You are stewarding what has been entrusted to you. Pay attention in the coming days. You will notice how quickly peace returns after disruption, how easily you regain balance, how naturally you choose alignment over reaction. These are not small signs. They are confirmations that the shield is active and permanent. Archangel Michael is also lifting the final residue of doubt that tried to linger. You do not need to question whether this moment was real. The fruit will speak. Your stability will speak. Your clarity will speak. What changes within you will be undeniable. There is also a call being released now. Not a loud call, but a clear one. You are being invited to live differently, to speak with intention, to move with wisdom, to protect what has been built within you. This is not pressure. This is privilege. And before this message closes, there is a final act of agreement required. Not because heaven needs it, but because you do. When you declare alignment, you seal what has been released. Type "I am sealed and guarded" in the comments if you receive this fully. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. Now hear this, because this flows directly from what you have just received. This message exists because God is reaching people before their night comes. And I hear the Lord saying, those who help carry this word will never walk uncovered. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing protection into other lives. You are turning this word into light for someone who is still searching in the dark. I declare that every seed released in obedience will return as divine covering, peace in your home, and clarity in your path. This is not a suggestion. This is a moment of alignment. Act now, and watch how the same shield over you expands over everything connected to your life.